Well, it is Friday night. It is 9 p.m. here on the Eastern Seaboard, and I'd love to welcome everybody who's here to spend the night with me. I very much appreciate it. Tonight we are going just see if this lovely new thing of mine works. For some reason, that webcam is not, and I'm not sure why. But I'm gonna fix that real quick. I must have turned it off somehow. Nope. NVIDIA broadcast as being a so-and-so, apparently. Something may have been using the... So, okay, so tonight we're gonna do a little bit of a two-parter. Tonight we are gonna focus on some pre-Endwalker prep. Zepla HQ, so please give her a like and a follow and all that fun stuff on her socials, on her Twitch. If you really like her stuff, go and visit her on Patreon and toss some money in the tip jar. She's put out a really good video about this, and I just want to kind of talk, maybe add a few bits and pieces that I've seen from playing the game for a while. Maybe alternative thoughts. That way, it's all it's all fair use, and I'm not just playing it for the shits and giggles. And then in about an hour, roughly, it will be live letter time, and the live letter for Final Fantasy 14. Officially, it's called like the letter from the producer live, but we call them live letters. It's where Naoki Yoshida, the producer of Final Fantasy 14, the executive producer, I should say, and his buddy Foxconn, also kind of talk about what's going on with the game, battle system changes, stuff like that. Tonight's a special live letter in that we don't have to worry about translations. So I won't be translating, apparently, because actually they are doing live translations as we go. Like I said, the title cards they use in their presentations are also very... They have English translations built in. They have Japanese, that's the primary, and then they have English text to go with them. So this is not really going to be a gaming stream tonight. It is going to be focusing on chatter more than that. If the second half of the live letter is kind of talking about like staff members and stuff, we might cut away to go and do some gameplay. Sykes still needs to go for the storyline. Ravus could use some more levels and Summoner and Scholar. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so let's start this up without further ado. So let me just do my thing and get everything powered up. And we are gonna activate this lovely window. Huzzah! Okay. So let's have a chat and let's hear what Zepla's got to say, and then we're gonna see if there's anything that can help. All you lovely folks, get ready for Endwalker. We're now about 2 months away from the expansion, if less than that. The time that clock is ticking down. If for any reason this runs like shorter than an hour, which it probably will, because I'm probably horribly misjudged, then we might just kind of shoot the shit for a little bit and see what's happening elsewhere. I might queue up a Bellula video or an Asmongold video so we can see what else is going on. Okay, so let's begin.
Hey Bun, so today we're going to talk about all the stuff that is pretty important, I think, for you to try to get done before Endwalker, stuff that might be affected by the upcoming stat squish, which we don't know at this time quite how severe it's gonna be. Like, we don't know if the stat squish is going to severely impact how easy it currently is to do unsynced content and other content that might be affected. So I'm going to get into all that. And with the Endwalker being about a little over 2 months away, I think now is a good time to set some reasonable goals that you could feasibly do between now and then.
Okay, so I'm going to stop there. So she's not wrong. The stat squish is coming. So what that means is, as the game's been steadily increasing the level cap, obviously we've now breached like 100k hit points. And I think actually, if I remember rightly, like we're getting close to like some tanks having 180 to 200k, depending on what level of gear and melds and things like that. So they're gonna bring that all back down in line. What they did mention in I want to say either at FanFest or when they first announced Endwalker, one of the two, don't quite remember what, is that the stat squish would make it harder for you to do unsynced content. Because the unsynced content, the old content at level 50, level 60, level 70, and so on, not level 70, but that will also come into play when Endwalker launches, like all the level 80 content and all the level like 71 through 79 leveling dungeons and stuff will be doable unsynced. But they are going to be more difficult than they are now. Now, one of the things I haven't shown yet is how easy it is for me to solo level 50 extreme trials as a samurai. It's really freaking easy. The stat squish can make that kind of more difficult. We are going to have to wait and see. And hopefully, the live letter will actually help with that, kind of explaining that tonight. So, it has been mentioned it will be more difficult. So I just want to kind of correct that a little bit. But we don't know how much yet.
That'll keep you busy anyway, but now might be the best time to do those things. So first of all, in the topic of unsynced content, so like I said, we are getting that big stat squish that's coming in Endwalker, and we
There we
don't
go.
know right now
That's
how
what I
much
was
it
looking
will
for.
affect unsyncing. Right now, you can easily unsync old extreme trials and just sort of blaze through them, easy to farm for mounts and things like that. But they did say that they will be adding a small buff in Endwalker that will compensate for the stat squish somewhat. That will make the unsyncing less painful, but we don't know how effective that buff will be. We don't know, like, compared to now, how easy it will be. And a lot of people are speculating that it will be harder to do unsynced content because, I mean, it's probably better to err on the side of caution in any case. So I would suggest getting all of your raid and trial mounts from the extreme trials from past expansions and the previous savage raids that you can currently unsync. You might want to get all those. Their puppies, their ponies, their birds, and all of that. I think now would be a really good time to try to farm those out before the stat squish and Endwalker happens.
I completely agree. So I think one of the things we're going to be focusing on in the coming weeks is we're going to be focusing on getting Ravus his mounts. So Ravus has all the level 50 ponies. Even he has freaking Nightmare. Lucky sod. And we are going to focus on on some of the streams. We're going to focus on trying to get the level 60 stuff, if possible. I don't know about level 70. I've not touched, apart from Lakshmi, I haven't touched any of the level 70 extreme content, so that might be something fun to do. 80 stuff, so like Crown of the Immaculate, Dancing Plague, those trials, all the weapon trials, stuff like that. I have not. I tell a lie. I have done the Dancing Plague extreme on Zemnis, actually. Was it Zemnis? No, it was Excalibur. It was Excalibur who's in Tequila Shots' guild. Yeah. So, yeah. Time's running out. We've got 2 months to get that sorted. And there's also the fact that we need to farm MGP for that dang car. I found out how. We're going to have a few Gold Saucer streams, and do the fashion report this weekend. But I will be doing that privately because I have things to do this weekend. I'll be doing that on my own time. All right, let's keep going.
You want to complete the Coils of Bahamut unsynced if you don't want to go through the super high difficulty raid. Most people do tend to just go through unsynced to watch all the cutscenes and experience the story, because it's a pretty important story as we're going into Endwalker. In Endwalker, we will of course be going into Sharlayan, that is the homeland of Archon Louisoix, and the Coils of Bahamut story teaches you about the fate of what happened to Archon Louisoix, and that's going to be really important information as we go there to Sharlayan and try to piece together the puzzle of whatever the Endwalker story will be. So if you do enjoy the story and you haven't done Coils, well, you are kind of regretted by the time we get to Sharlayan.
Yeah, that's another thing. I don't know if we'll do this on Sykes. We might have time to do it on Sykes before Endwalker. We'll see. I would very much like to take you all through the Coils of Bahamut again. I know that some of those fights are really freaking difficult solo. I'm looking at you, Tier 9, or Coil 9. Oh, God. Nail Van Darnus. Oh, no. Oh, that fight is a pain. But I did manage to solo it. I barely managed to solo it with Echo help. Because I probably suck. But yeah, Binding Coils of Bahamut is also something you should do. At level 80, you can also solo Alexander, at least on regular mode for the most part. There are a couple of things you can't solo because you either have to kill things real quick enough to beat them, to beat like the tank swap mechanics, or there are mechanics where if you take a hit while doing something, it resets the mechanic and you can't do it. Things like that. That's also like A9, I think. The scrap boss is A9, I think. Yeah, I think it is. Because that's the one everyone likes to run for animal weapons, for Animalite. So, that's another point. You can also probably do Omega, not necessarily solo. I haven't tried doing Omega solo yet. Again, something maybe a try. And even if you can't do Omega solo, you can do it in smaller parties. So there's also the trials as well, but I want to see what else Zepla has to say on trials first.
So go do that unsynced. I would say do it unsynced now before the expansion, so you'll be fresh when you get into the expansion, and so that hopefully after the stat squish, it won't be much harder to do unsynced, because right now we don't really know. I should also mention that Natsuko Ishikawa, the main writer for Shadowbringers and Endwalker, has suggested that you do this. Like, you definitely want to do Coils of Bahamut to watch all the cutscenes, at least do it unsynced. She also recommended that you complete the Omega Raid series from Stormblood. She said that these are both going to be important to know about for the Endwalker story. So she said that was pretty important side content to complete before the expansion. And again, stuff that you can unsync now. Honestly, Omega even unsynced is not the easiest, but you can get through it. You can go in through AlphaScape and find out where they get the chicken tenders. Ultimates might be affected by the stat squish as well. So, I mean, is there a time to do an ultimate before Endwalker? Yes. Sure, why not? Yeah, okay. I mean, you could. There's probably time. You could do uwu, most likely. Another thing you can, of course, do while you're unsyncing old content is farming glamours from old dungeons and old raids and things. Might want to look at the Eorzea collection website and search through the gear sets there and see maybe there's any gear sets that you really want to hunt down. You also want to prepare gear for the various jobs or roles you might be considering playing or maining in Endwalker. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to get a bis set for those jobs, though I mean that can be fun to do to feel like super ready for the new expansion, but having a decent set for the jobs you're thinking about going into the new expansion with.
So this is an excellent point. Okay. With the best in slot set, well, not even necessarily best in slot sets, but the sets, whether you want to do glam sets or get 535 gear or kind of close to 535, because the relic is 535, and I'm sure the relic will come up at some point. There are two new classes coming up in Endwalker. There is Sage, and there is Reaper. Now, Sage is basically the same as White Mage, as Astro, and as Scholar. Sorry, I had to remember all three of my healers there. It's the fourth healer. So, outside of the weapon, which you will be able to get, because I'm sure that any class that starts at level 70. So, there is a pattern with where classes start. And typically, if I remember correctly, you tend to start 20 levels below the current cap, except for Heavensward. So Dark Knights, Astrologians, and Machinists start at level 30 when you get into Ishgard. The cap for Endwalker, not Endwalker, Heavensward is 60. So it's 30 belief, but originally it was like level 50. Because you can access those as the moment you get into Ishgard, which is a level 50 zone. So it makes sense. Dancer. Not Dancer. No, wait. No, yeah. No, yeah. I'm getting there. Gunbreaker and Dancer are Shadowbringers classes. So they start at 20 beneath the Shadowbringers cap, which is 80, so they drop down to 60, and so on and so forth. My point is that you need to make sure that you can get like a full set of Dragoon gear for Reaper, and they will have weapons for level 70 onwards. So you can go to Ralga's Reach or go to Kugane, most likely, to pick up a weapon for Sage. And it'll be an augmented weapon for Sage or Reaper when they release. So maybe keep some Poetics back as well when the expansion hits, just for the weapons. If you don't have a full set of like level 70 Dragoon gear and then a set of level 80 gear as well to transition into ready for the Endwalker content, that's also wise. But let's keep going.
And keeping in mind that Reaper will be considered a maiming job, so it will be sharing gear with Dragoon. So you might want to maybe level Dragoon, get some of that maiming gear that could be shared and like also work on Reaper. Or you could gather the glamour, the maiming glamour for Reaper, so you can look cool. Though keep in mind that it is what is on the inside that counts. I know this is pretty rich coming from me, but you want to clean up your inventory?
It's not just you, Zepla, it's me too. It's me as well. I'm not even kidding when I say this. I really need to clean up my inventory as well. Because, yeah, I have to lean up a little bit because my camera's auto-focusing. Shit. Ravis's inventory, if none of you have been looking at it, is really freaking like dirty. Let's just put it like that. It's dirty. It needs to be fixed and tidied up. I have an awful lot of like relic weapon gear in there for leveling my relic weapons. So, yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah. my inventory has not been good lately. So look, I feel your pain if you also are suffering right now with terrible inventory. But there are people that have made the guide on how to clean up your bags in the game. So I'll put a link to
You
that
made
where
your
you
own
can,
guide?
watch the guide from the person that really knows how to clean up their inventory really good. So that should help. But you're gonna want to
Zepla!
do that at some point before the expansion. But you can probably do it later, right? You can just put it off. You can do that later. You want to gear up and level your retainers. Your retainers, of course, being your bank in the game. For some people who may not know what retainers are yet. Though I'm very excited about retainers in the expansion because I will have Bunny Boy. I'll have Bunny Boy retainers. I'll have my.
Remind me, do we have retainer Fantasia? I'm pretty sure we do, but I don't remember how you do it because I'm a barker. So yeah, I think at some point that's something. Now, personally, I'm not a big fan of like leveling my retainers. I'm probably missing out on a ton of making money from my retainers from not leveling them up. I am lazy AF when it comes to that. I think maybe I should change that and get a whole bunch of ventures and stuff using my seals. At least on Ravers. Syx is more gonna be my story hog. Curious. I did not realize that your retainers could go up into jobs. What am I doing wrong? Huh. See what I mean? I see this little icon right here. This is your job where your jobstone goes. And it's the paladin jobstone, but on a scroll. And I'm like, Nani? I don't remember this. Okay, either way. Alright, let's continue.
Harem there for me. You also want to clean up and prepare your UI, maybe even reconsider your setup a little bit because I recently changed my UI after I got the Logitech G600 mouse. No, I'm not paid. I'm not sponsored by Logitech, but I have enjoyed the mouse a lot, and it's caused me to reconfigure my hotbars and everything. And it took me, basically what I'm saying is if you're thinking about getting an MMO mouse going into the new expansion, you are probably going to want to get it at least a month before the expansion comes, because it took me about a good solid month to really get a handle on it. And the more time that you can give yourself to get used to a new mouse,
I'm
where
looking at
you
my
have a bunch
mouse,
of buttons on the side of it, the better, because it was very, very difficult and very awkward for me for at least a month. So I wouldn't want to play without it. It's incredible. I'm really glad I have it now. But if you are going to change your setup in that way, get a new mouse, then you want to get it as soon as possible, because you don't want to be struggling with it when the expansion is due. It was very painful and very hard for a long time. Okay, I did make a video, and this video was made before I got the mouse, so the hotbars don't look the same as they do now. But I did talk about how I set up my UI. I talked about my job change menu and how I created that. So all that, I'll link to that in the description box down below, so you can get an idea on how I do things. You also want to inform yourself on all of the upcoming job changes. Now, we're expecting to hear more about that later this month, maybe in the
tonight. We're expected to probably hear some more about that tonight, and ongoing now for the next 2 months. Yeah, she's absolutely right. Starting tonight, we are starting to find out more about the job changes, the battle system changes coming up for Endwalker, all that fun stuff. So, it would be very wise for people to keep watching and to listen to that kind of 10 o'clock onwards, 7 Pacific, which is when it's supposed to start. And to keep an eye out on the forums, on the lodestone, all of the kind of areas where you will find this kind of information, because my goodness, that will be very, very helpful. Okay.
live letter that's upcoming this weekend, so stay tuned for that. Try to be plugged into the Final Fantasy 14 news. Check the lodestone as often as you can, and we will hopefully very soon learn more about the new jobs and what major changes are coming to existing jobs, so we can make informed
We've
decisions
had
about,
like the job
which jobs do I
intro
really want to gear
videos,
up
but I
right
don't know if
now
we've
in
had the full
preparation
job
for
action
participation,
videos
what do I
yet.
really
Can't
want to
remember.
main. You want to get the level 3 FC buffs ready. Okay,
Our FC
so
lead has been doing
I
this.
actually don't run an active FC. I really just don't have time to run an FC or to be in an active FC where there's a lot of expectation. Like, I just cannot, because I'm pretty busy with the Discord and Twitch and everything else. But I can recommend that if you're like me and you're not in an FC where they have the FC buffs ready. I know that the highest level FC buff is tier 3, Heat of Battle. That's 15% XP buff. That's what I meant. I'm talking about XP buffs here. That's really going to be amazing for you whenever you're leveling in the early days of the expansion. And so if you're like me, you might want to pick up some Squadron Battle Manuals. Those will give you 15% XP bonus, so that's as good as the best FC buff, but it only lasts for 2 hours. But for me, that's been fine.
That's really good advice. I love that. I absolutely adore that, because I forgot about that manual. I know about all the others, like the Ephraite cost and crafting XP and gathering XP and all those fun ones. For some reason, I forgot about the battle XP one. So yeah, if for any reason you're not in a free company and you really need that little XP buff, then go and do, I want to say it's the level 50 or level 60 missions in your squadron. And if you haven't leveled your squadron up, okay, so first step for that is go and get the second lieutenant rank. Second step is to go and do squadron missions. And please, for the love of God, use like a solver, like FFXIV Squadron or something like that to really help you with that, because that is a colossal pain in the ass. And then get your team's stats high enough to be able to take on these missions really easily, and then you can get these sort of stacked up.
I've been collecting those with my adventure squadrons, sending them out on the missions, and getting as many battle manuals as I can. As we
I know my UI is
trying to
covering
collect
it,
them and not use them. Well, actually, I don't need to use them because I have all my jobs at max level. So,
that's okay. I too have all my classes on 80 on Zemnis. Not on Ravus. Definitely not Syx. Zemnis has all his classes to 80, and he will probably still be taking a back seat for this expansion. Just because, again, I play on Exodus mainly now, and Balmung is where Syx is for story stuff. And we're going to figure out in a couple months how we're going to be doing story stuff. Like, do I want to do a story run on Syx, or do I want to race to 90 on Ravus and skip everything, and then go back in a separate set of streams to do a storyline? I know some of my friends are here in the community. Tequila usually does that, but he also partakes in that big old streamathon with Happy, so there's that too. But yeah, anyway.
That's another thing.
I will get Ravus to 80 eventually. I'm working on it.
Quick side note, you could get all your jobs at max level and get your Amuro mount, who's very lovely. As for the story, I mentioned at the start of this video, we were talking a little bit about coils, and we were talking about Omega a little bit. Those were the two things that Natsuko Ishikawa, the writer, said that you really, really should go through. Like, that's the most important recommendations that she had if you want any kind of hints on the story for Endwalker or any important backstory for Endwalker. But in addition to that, she gave some other recommendations. If you have more time, like if you have more time than just clearing out coils and Omega, she said that you should also do previous side content, because Endwalker is intended to be a conclusion. It's supposed to be a big conclusion to this huge story arc that we've been having since the beginning of the game. And so I think it's going to be sort of like we might get little reminders of all the little people and all the little places that we met along the way. And so she suggested that you do Four Lords, you do the We're Lit story, and all the job quests. And also doing Eureka and Baja. Now,
So let's go over what some of those mean for folks that may not play 14. Four Lords is the trial storyline in Stormblood. It's level 70. Whirler is the weapon storyline, like Ruby Weapon and all that fun stuff. Level 80 Shadowbringers. Eureka is the level 70 relic weapon instance place thing. Annoying as heck. In Stormblood. Has 4 separate zones. Bosja is the level 80 Shadowbringers relic weapon thing. So that's Bosja, that's Zadnor, that is also Delubrum Reginae. Yeah. And then all the job quests are the job quests. So from level 30 onwards, you get your jobs. You had to complete a quest called Self-Management as well. So I'm covering this at like new player level. And then you, every 5 levels from there, roughly, and then went up post 60, it changes to like every 2. Post 70, it's like 2, 3, 2, 3 kind of deal, I think. Oh, it's like 2, 3, 2, 2, 2. I can't quite remember. Yeah, so roughly every 5 levels up to 50, and then every 2 levels, roughly from then on, all the way up to 70, you have job quests, and they have different, like 3 different storylines, and then 0 to 30 is your class storyline. So there's another storyline you have to do, like we're going through the Lancer storyline on Syx right now. And that means that if Ishikawa-san, I'm sorry, I'm not very good with my Japanese honorifics. If she is suggesting that as well, it would probably be wise to do that. I feel like if the main writer for the game is telling you to do this, it's probably a good idea. Okay, let's continue.
as for Baja, that would be my suggestion that you focus on. I would strongly suggest that you finish Baja Citadel, all the Save the Queen story before Endwalker,
Yeah.
because I believe that content is going to die for a while after the expansion launches. Like, I don't think it's going to be dead forever because Baja is very good leveling content from 70 to 80, but yeah, it's probably going to be really difficult to do that for quite some time. And Baja is important because that's how you can get your relic weapons. That's the main thing that I'm focusing on right now, as we're going into Endwalker. I'm collecting as many beautiful, sparkly, shiny relic weapons as I can, and you do that from doing a Baja Citadel. So I'm gonna put on screen. I think I'll try to show us somewhere on screen where you can go to unlock that, and I strongly suggest that you do that.
Yeah. So to unlock this, you can see the steps there. The thing I want to clarify here a little bit is that after you unlock like the Bastions of in front and the relic story and so on and so forth, that you then have to level inside the instances. But I want to see if Zepla's going to cover that first before I go into detail. So let's see.
Before the expansion, you could also do Eureka. That was another thing Natsuko Ishikawa suggested doing, which was kind of odd. I wonder if we will actually get an update on the Eureka story. Eureka is still active, you know. Eureka
We might. Spoiler incoming. So, Eureka is basically a destroyed Charlian city, island kind of place. And I'm not going to give the name of it because too heavy on the spoilers. A little bit there. But it's basically just what happens. So basically, a grand magic. Someone detonated something like Ultima on the island, and it basically screwed it up. And that's what Eureka is now. And where was I going with this? Charlian, yeah, Charlian. I bet you there might be mention of Eureka or the island's actual name as part of going to Old Charlie, and there might be kind of references to it. So there's that.
It is similar to Baja content that is no longer as active as it was when it was out in Stormblood, but there's still plenty of people doing it. I mean, I'm going into Baldessian Arsenal, the major raid from Eureka relatively often, I would say, and I see runs going all the time for that. I know someone that very recently, like in the past month or two, completely went through all of Eureka from the beginning. So it's quite possible to do now, and that is something that you can busy yourself with as we go into the expansion. I know there's some very cool, like glowy, shiny glamour that you can get from Eureka, and of course the relic weapons, the beautiful relic weapons. I would say that it's worth doing to get the experience of Baldessian Arsenal, which is incredible, and to get the very cool mount Demi Ozma from the final raid that you get access to at the end of Eureka. Though I just about lost my mind trying to get it. Before I go today, I want to remind y'all that we do have a live letter coming this Friday, September 17th
Tonight?
at 7 p.m. PDT. So if you're in Europe, it's going to be, once again, at the butt crack of dawn. It'll be at 1 a.m. UK time. For me, it's going to be 3 in the morning. I might be sleeping through it and watching the VOD later. If I can, we'll see. How can I sleep under such circumstances? We'll see about it. But that's this Friday, so please look forward to it. And if you haven't heard, there's
Oh, the hope. Okay. So I'm going to say this just so that y'all who are staying with me to watch the live letter are not kind of sidelined, sort of spawned by this. But Yoshi P has a habit of saying, please look forward to things. It's kind of the game's tagline, but his tagline is, we can't tell you about this right now, but please look forward to it. And it's like, oh my god. You tease, you troll. He's also a notorious troll. If you've ever watched any of like FanFest or anything like that, he comes out dressed up in like the new classes and stuff. Or of course he gets the like the whole company, the CEO of Square Enix, to come out dressed up as a freaking blue mage. Go look that up.
also, the Fantasy 15 collab event is back. It is happening this week. So that's one thing that you might want to do right now. That is, of course, before Endwalker. I think it's going to be here until October 18th. At 7:59 a.m. PDT is the cutoff time on October 18th. So right now is your chance to get that car, to get the very awesome car.
Remember, you need 200k.
200k MGP. You can also get the hairstyle, Noctis hairstyle. You can get the Noctis glam, and it's not very hard to do at all. It's pretty easy to go through that and do the trial.
Bullshit. I am going to call you on this. That fucking solo mission with Garuda last night was a pain in the ass. Anyone who was watching that knows that I kept dying on that last part because I wasn't timing my freaking warp strikes correctly. That part was not easy. Or maybe I just suck. Okay. I just think I lost focus. It was late night and I was having trouble playing that late at night. It was a long day. So, yeah, we're coming to the close of this, so let's just keep going for a little bit longer, and I'm going to probably queue something up for the last 20 minutes, or maybe just get the live letter stream prepped. I sucked last night. Samantha, I sucked last night trying to do that solo mission. That was hard. Rather timing that, dodging that big attack that kills you every time was the hard part. I'm usually very good at solo missions. I don't usually die, and I don't usually die multiple times. Oh wait, there was that one at level 70 in patch 4.1. Yeah. Anyway, that's a spoiler. I'm saying
Well,
more.
I mean, not true.
But the car takes
The
200k gold
instance
swords
that you
points,
have to do,
and I
the
think we're gonna
personal
probably
solo
focus
duty,
on
no
like
problem. So yeah, I would. That's already
doing that
live. That's right now. You can log in and get the car
next week.
from doing the little quest there.
I'm
Buns,
gonna
thank
do
you so
the
much for
fashion
watching. I hope
report.
you liked this video, and I hope it's been helpful for you in sorting to crystallize some of the goals that you might want to set for yourself between now and Endwalker. If you like this video, please consider supporting the channel on Patreon or on Twitch. You can also support the channel for free by clicking the subscribe button or by sharing this video with your fellow Warriors of Light. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
So with that in mind, yeah, please, especially considering she put all the work into this video and I'm just talking over it, please go and give her a like, a follow. You can find her over like Zepla HQ on most of her media. Twitter is like Zepla with an X rather than a Z. Please go and give her like a like and a follow because she puts out a lot of good content both on Twitch and on YouTube.